Welcome to Undisputed. Hope you guys had a great weekend. How are we doing today?
I am doing great. Received word that there's another documentary coming down the pipeline. You know how I became the GOAT, but we'll talk about that, Jenny, at another day, at another time.
That was a lame attempt at humor, and all I gotta say, Jenny, is that, dare I say, Jerry Jones has been Jordan-esque this offseason. Jerry strikes again. Here we go.
Yeah, he's been Jerry Krause this offseason. Jerry Krause, that's the Jerry.
Those are two very different comparisons, and we will get to everything Michael Jordan, of course, what we saw last night. But we do have to start with the Cowboys because they finally came to terms with a quarterback, but his name is not Dak Prescott. Instead, Dallas agreed to a one-year deal with veteran Andy Dalton after he was released from the Bengals. It gives the Cowboys a legitimate backup, but also left some scratching their heads since Dak is still only franchise tagged. So Shannon, how much did this signing have to do with Dak's negotiations right now?
Well, guys, I believe it accomplishes two things. I do believe it gives them the quality backup that they need, that they have not had since Dak took over the starting job and Tony Romo was injured. He came out the injury. And obviously, we know Tony Romo was a starter for a substantial amount of time and had proven. So if something had happened to Dak, they were more than comfortable having Tony Romo go back in, considering that was the direction they really wanted to go in to begin with, Skip. But on the flip side, I do believe it gives them some leverage over Dak because it says, okay, Dak, now we feel very comfortable. This guy's been a starter for a long period of time. He's won the division. He's won 50, Skip. I mean, he won 50 games in his first 5 years. So we know what he's capable of doing. We want you, Dak, but we want you at our number. So I believe it's twofold. It gives them the quarterback that they need as a quality backup that they need because, Skip, I believe if something were to happen to Dak, I don't believe personally, I could be wrong, and a lot of other people would be proven wrong if Cooper Rush could come in this with all that pressure and lead the team if something were to happen to Dak for an extended period of time. Andy Dalton has been a starter. I believe Andy Dalton could come in if something were to happen to Dak and keep the ship upright until Dak were to return. But on the big side, Skip, this is a leverage play. This is a leverage play saying, Dak, we feel very comfortable going into the season, playing the season with Andy Dalton if you're unwilling to relent on your contract demands. So this was a message on two folds.
This was advantage Jerry Jones. This was a shocking steal of a deal of a quote-unquote backup quarterback who, as you point out, Shannon, won a whole lot of football games for a bad team in Cincinnati. Andy Dalton is a 3-time Pro Bowler who carried that team to the playoffs with the help of A.J. Green, but he did it 4 times. The Bengals made the playoffs 4 times under Andy Dalton. And all of a sudden, the big D in Dallas is not Big Dak. I think it's Big Dalton. Because Andy Dalton chose the Dallas Cowboys over, I'm going to guess that New England was somehow in the sweepstakes here. I'm going to guess that Jacksonville might have kicked the tires with Gardner Minshew as its starting quarterback. And I'm going to know that Andy Dalton said, I choose Dallas for $3 million base a year. He was scheduled to make $17.7 million this coming year for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's obviously made a lot of money in Cincinnati in pre-contracts. But now Jerry Jones says, I've got the best backup in the league. I've got the best backup that Dallas has ever had since Danny White backed up Roger Staubach. I got a Pro Bowl backup, and I've got an ace in the hole. Because all of a sudden, Jerry, who is winning and owning the offseason, has thrust Dak and his new agent back on their heels. They had Jerry dead to rights because they kept saying, in effect, what are you going to do, Jerry? Play Cooper Rush? You're going to play Cooper Rush? He's completed 1 pass in 3 attempts for 4 yards. Is that what you want to go with next year if we decide to hold out into the season? Is that what you're going to do, Jerry? And now Jerry can say, guess what I'm going to do now? I'm going to play Andy Dalton in games that count if we can't come to terms. And all of a sudden, Dak Prescott has to wonder, wait a second, did I just lose all my leverage? Because remember, Shannon, the franchise tag is placed on Dak right now, but it could be rescinded at any moment. If Jerry thinks this negotiation has gone completely south, if it's deadlocked, impasse, stalemated, it's possible before the July 15th deadline that he just say, okay, we rescind, we give up. You're asking for outrageous, out-of-bounds money, Dak Prescott, and that's what I believe from the start he is asking for, because remember, Jerry's MO, his history is of overpaying players he treats like sons. In this case, this is the first case where he couldn't get this one done because I believe Dak and his new agent are asking for money that's beyond comprehension. It has not been reported. This is what I've been told. I don't know the figure. I just think they're asking for way out of bounds money that even Jerry Jones says that's too rich for my blood. I've got to have some responsibility to my salary cap. And no, Dak, I'm not going to do that for you. I'm not going to go beyond what Patrick Mahomes is about to get from Kansas City. So in the end, now Dak has to wonder, would he yank the tag? That's $31.4 million next year. Is it possible that suddenly he'd say, okay, heck with you, I'll just go with Andy Dalton? Whatever the case, a fire just got lit under Dak Prescott. And I, for one, am loving it because I feel much better about the Dak negotiation now that Jerry has Andy Dalton as his, he's got 2 aces in the hole. That's the equivalent of having a backup and a starting quarterback sitting right there on the fence, ready to jump in if necessary. And it's feeling like it just might be necessary.
Skip, Dak Prescott and his representative looking, Jerry, you do realize that on Andy Dalton's watch, they got the #1 overall draft pick. That happened on Andy Dalton's watch. Skip, I believe Dak Prescott has never embraced Jerry like other superstars, as you mentioned, allowed him to be a father figure to him. Dak has kept Jerry Jones at an arm's distance. He's like, I'm the quarterback, I'm the leader, I'm the face of this franchise. You are the owner. I don't need you to be like Michael Irvin treated you. I don't need you like Dak and so many other of the Cowboys players. I'm my own man. I come here, I do a job, I'm going to be professional, I'm going to do everything I can to help this team win. But I don't need you. I don't need to pick up the phone and say, Jerry, let's talk. I don't need Steve pick up the phone and call Steven. Steven, let's get this deal done. I have a representative to do that. And so, and with that being said, Skip, I just believe Dak has always come in and says, I'm going to treat this as a business. I'm not trying to be buddy-buddy. Skip, we know Jerry loves his players. Jerry loves getting close to his players. Hell, Jerry would probably, hey, let's all go out for a drink. Let's have a drink. He sees them somewhere. He's going to send a drink over to them. That's the kind of owner Jerry is. But Dak doesn't want that, Skip. Dak just wants to lead this football team. He just wants to play quarterback and go home. That's what he wants to do. I don't know about all that going home, but Skip, he's never really embraced everything that comes along with being a Cowboy player, which is the love and adoration that the owner Jerry Jones has. That's very unique. Very few owners are willing to go like Jerry and hang and have a good time and go drinking and have a party with those guys. That's not how owners normally work, but that's how Jerry is. For me, if I'm Dak, I'm sticking to my guns. If this is the way you want to play it, you play it that way. But at the end of the day, Skip Bayless, I've never seen, in all my years, I've never seen a quarterback accomplish what Dak has accomplished in his first 4 years and have to threaten to hold out. No quarterback, good, bad, or indifferent, has been able to accomplish what Dak Prescott has accomplished. Won 2 divisions in his first 4 years. He was Rookie of the Year, threw for almost 5,000 yards. He has a playoff win on his resume, something Andy Dalton does not have in 8, 9 years on his resume. And you're saying, you're trying to hold me hostage. That's not going to work.
I find this highly amusing that you and a lot of other people I read about and hear from are all of a sudden saying, pay the man. You're treating him with no respect, Jerry. Well, how about you, Shannon Sharp? You have treated Dak Prescott with no respect for 4 years. You have told me that he gets Fs for many of the games he plays, that he's a below average starting quarterback, that he's not the answer in Dallas. And now you're telling me he should get beyond Mahomes money? It's absurd. It's the biggest bunch of baloney I've ever heard spewed on this show.
We don't know what Mahomes is asking for, but Skip, that does not change the fact a $3 million fixer-upper, a 3,000 square foot fixer-upper in Malibu is going to probably cost you $10 million because of location. No matter what you think of Dak as a quarterback, it's position, position, position. He plays the most valuable position in all of pro sports, and he's played it well. I'm not saying he's played it great. There have been occasions in which he's played great. Now he needs to be compensated. He needs to be rewarded for his play. Now, you tell me, Skip, all the time, it's not what Dak has done. The question is, do you believe Dak Prescott can lead you to a Super Bowl? Like you told me, if you believe that's what he is, he should be played. Just like you tell me, if Tua is healthy, he should start. If Dak Prescott can lead you to a Super Bowl anytime within the next 3 to 4 years, pay him $40 million. I'm using your words against you.
So you just referred to Dak Prescott as a fixer-upper in Malibu who would go for maybe $10 million when it's probably like a $3 million house that needs a whole lot of work put